We'll call the Guthrie Park Board meeting to order. Take some roll. Chairperson, that's me, I'm here. Vice Chair Colleen, absent. Secretary Martha, she's here. Carol Steed, absent. And new member Stephen Harrison is here. Good deal. So first item is to consider approval of the minutes from the last meeting in May.
I did provide each of you a copy there, so, and then I've got one here for you to sign, Van, if it's approved.
Okay. Anybody see any changes they want to make or anything? Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. So those are good. All right. Next, we will welcome Stephen.
Yes.
Maybe we introduce ourselves and then he can introduce himself and we'll talk about each other a little bit. I'm Van Corder, been on the board for a number of years now and work at John Vance Motors. So, and
I'm Martha Turner. I've been on the board a couple months now. Moved here from Georgia.
Okay.
I live right by Highland Park, so love the parks and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, glad you're here with us.
Appreciate it.
let's hear a little bit about yourself.
Jeremy Brown, I am Park Superintendent, been here about 7 years, 8 years.
Awesome.
You a Guthrie native?
No, I grew up in Woodward, Oklahoma,
Oh, close.
but I've been out in Meridian now for a lot of years.
Okay.
Tenny Maker, Public Works Director. Been with the city 28 years. Just kind of worked my way through the ranks to get where I'm at now, and been doing Public Works Director now for about 6 years. We do have a packet for you. We're excited to have you on board. Look forward to working with you and what you can bring to the Parks Board meeting.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. I'm Stephen Harrison. I appreciate all that. Thanks for introducing yourselves. Me and my partner moved here about a year ago now, coming from Texas originally. We've always been fans of parks. I play pickleball a lot. He runs a lot, so we're so excited to be a part of the team.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Glad you're here.
Good deal. Perfect.
All right, number 4, item discussion and possible action to recommend combining the Guthrie Parks Board and the Forestry Board into one board. So, I kind of pulled up the agendas and stuff for Forestry Board. I guess they haven't even had a meeting in over a year. Is that correct? Or
Probably going on about 2 years, 2.5 years, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
wow.
Staff has kind of just been keeping things going as far as our Tree City and things like that we do. The last, I believe this discussion started back in 2020 when we started seeing the lack of members, volunteers of course. As we all know, is getting harder and harder to get. Staff has reached out to Mark Bays, who is with the Oklahoma Department of Forestry, kind of just to visit with him on his take on it as well. He said this is not really an uncommon deal no more. Again, how difficult it is to get volunteers. It's not an uncommon situation. He would love to help in any way as far as a few steps that would have to be taken would, of course, look over our current resolutions and ordinances of both the Parks Board and the Forestry Board and combine those, kind of blending those duties and things like that. So that's something staff would probably start with and then again probably bring back to the Parks Board once we get it kind of a draft put together for you guys to review. He was willing to also himself kind of review that to make sure it covers things that would help us along as far as Tree City goes. And if you're interested kind of on what some of the duties of what the Forestry Board does, inventories of our trees, of all city parks and facilities and right-of-ways and things like that, full inventory. that book over there, the Parks, Trails, and Master Plans, it has it, it's pretty dated, needs brought back up to speed. It shows all the different trees in every single park that we have, locations, they're mapped out, a pretty close proximity of age of the trees and all of that. Selection of and location of trees on various projects when we have them. For example, like Banner Park, when we did Banner Park, our forestry board that was at that time assisted with the selection of what types of trees would be good in the park that would provide good shade, maybe not what we call the trash tree that would put off a lot of trash, but yet give good shade. Selections of trees that maybe are good in areas of like sidewalk or walking trails, but yet won't produce a lot of roots or something that's going to then make damage to infrastructure. Things like that. Tree City, hosting or being involved in things like the Christmas tree recycling is a big thing. We'll do like a Christmas tree recycling out at our convenience center. That's kind of something that Shelby puts into our application for Tree City. I think we're 28 years now, something like that,
Yep.
being awarded Tree City.
Awesome.
So during Arbor Day, the week of Arbor Day, there's a lot of activities that go on. Our forestry board would do maybe like a coloring contest or something like that, work with a class in school or a group of students or something, and they do a coloring contest, judge them, hang them up maybe somewhere at the library or city hall. We've done things like that. We've also educational information downtown, like on the trees along Harrison. They would get educational pieces and like as an ornament, and they would hang them on the tree and then remove them, only have them there for like the few days of Arbor Week to try to educate people about trees and how they help everything. And then again, get familiar with various tree banks so that we can look for various grants, things like that, or donations of trees. We're constantly needing to try to replace trees as we see trees that get either aged or maybe become taken over by diseases or something like that. We're constantly having them die throughout the years, and our Parks Board normally tries to remove trees as they die. They take that as kind of a wintertime project, start removing trees, we mark them. If you probably noticed a lot throughout the parks, they'll have I think they did red X's on them this year.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's what they use to mark them, because once the leaves are gone, it's hard to tell which ones is which, so they'll try to catch them before
Yeah, we don't want to be
all
cutting
the
down
leaves
my
are down.
trees.
So that's just kind of some of the roles, some of the duties of what the forestry board has done in the past. But yeah, I think it'd be a good thing for us to try to combine them boards. Not only do we then have one meeting
Yeah, right.
instead of two, but the struggles that we've seen with getting volunteers, I think this board could do it, and it'd be fun.
Would you recommend going to once a month meetings, or do you think that with combining the two, once every other month would still?
I think we'd still be, have plenty, keeping it quarterly.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of months that, I mean, we may not have anything on the agenda at all,
True.
so, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Look forward to seeing the proposal and stuff. Would that happen on with the next meeting?
Yeah, I think we could probably make it within the next meeting. Again, like I said, this started back in 2020 under a previous city manager. Eddie has already, he was who recommended let's get it on the agenda to present to the Parks Board and see where you guys stood. So
Cool.
I
Great
think
idea.
if you guys would be in favor, we'd ask for, a motion to be in favor of.
Okay. So after that discussion, I'll make a motion to go ahead and recommend the combining of the Guthrie Parks Board and the Forestry Board into one board.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed, so that motion passed. Item number 5, discussion and update on the ferry houses and gardens.
All right,
Turn this over to Mark.
I will just update Stephen on what's going on. We're doing a ferry trail. It's sort of like a, what am I trying to say?
Nature walk.
No, what is it when you're looking for things? I can be-
Treasure hunt?
No,
Scavenger?
Scavenger
Scavenger
hunt,
hunt?
okay. And there'll be sheets that are available that'll give sort of locations where these houses are. The houses themselves are just doors who were made by the Job Corps here in Guthrie. I included the high school art class as far as drawing fairies for me and decorating houses. And then had the fairies put on, this is actually like a plastic kind of sticker
Okay.
that was printed. And this is like a shower board, okay? And then this is all sealed. And then Tenny had stakes made for me. So I have stakes that are about, what are they, 13, 15 inches
I think we
long.
made them 16 inches long.
Yeah, so they'll go down into the ground around trees. And then, so the scavenger list will have a map on it, which Tracy at the copy shop is working on the map for me. And it'll have stars where they are. Then on the back of that, it'll have miniatures of the fairies and little bios that the kids wrote about them, as much as I can write. Some of them are a little strange.
Right.
But,
Creative.
yeah, little bios about what they're looking for.
Okay.
So, yeah, sort of a family type thing that littles can participate in.
For sure.
My thoughts are at this point not to even mess with doing it during the winter. We might look at trees, but install it in the spring and have sort of a big to-do on Facebook and stuff like that, you know, that's what we've got. We will need something to put those sheets in.
Staff has,
Yeah,
Working on that? Oh, you want to
We've got you something, we just have to look at it and see if you like
Okay,
it.
I have a bunch of plexiglass too, if you need anything like that, like sheets of it, if you.
we've
need
got an
anything like
actual, you wanna grab it?
Yeah.
JB can grab it real quick. He had asked me, you want me to bring it in there? And I was like, well, no, we
it's-
just, he can grab it. We've got one.
Okay.
It's an actual, holder for him.
Yeah,
And we've got the
okay.
post already, so.
Great, great.
Yeah, I think, great. This was a great idea that Martha brought up. Of course, we've got lots of walking trails. I don't know if you've gotten familiar with all of them yet, but in Highland Park, there's quite a
It's
bit.
a great one. Yeah,
Um,
nice, really nice.
So, and I believe that's the park that she's looking at,
Right.
probably starting this in.
Right.
All of
Okay.
these type of
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
add
that'll be
to,
perfect.
our grant applications and things like that we do.
Like a 4x4 or
so-
something.
Perfect.
Another real neat piece that we'll add, that it's family orientated, brings in little kids. Some of our new trails, I'll kind of share in my update here as staff update, but we love doing these type of little things like this because it adds so much more to
Draws more families.
grant
into it.
applications, gets people out exercising, gives them more things to do rather than just go walk.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's a great idea. I think it adds character to the park.
Sure.
yes.
It creates another reason to go out there, you know.
Sure.
And
There's from what I understand, there is a ferry trail somewhere down around near the airport, but it won't be as elaborate as this one is. So it'll be one of the very few in Oklahoma.
Okay.
The original idea I saw was in New Mexico.
awesome.
So, yeah, it'll be something really cool for Guthrie
Yeah.
to have. And we've talked about eventually maybe in other walking trails as we do other things to do other ferry trails too, so.
That's awesome. I
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
support that.
And I think it's been a good thing that, you know, different parts of the community have helped. The Job Corps has been really thrilled to be a part of the community doing that, so.
Sure.
And all of the people that have been a part of it will be listed on those sheets, you know, thanking them for their involvement.
That's awesome.
They look fantastic.
Yeah.
It turned out awesome.
Yeah,
It really
beautiful.
turned out awesome.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, they're all different. all different.
Yeah, last time we just got to see a picture, that's.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they're turning out awesome.
Yeah, we
Um,
have one dragon and we have one troll and then the rest are
That's
fairies.
fun.
Some guys, some girls, and yeah, all different,
Yeah.
all very different
That's
as the
fun.
kids designed them.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, so they have a hand in it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very cool.
Looking at it, starting that in the spring.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's starting in the spring.
Was that, do you think, is that something that a team of volunteers would help? Or is that something that-
Sure, if we could get a team of volunteers, that'd be great.
Yeah, awesome.
That'd be great, but you know, I live right around the corner, so I've volunteered to keep an eye on them in case something happens to one of them or something.
Knocked over or something.
Yeah, I would love, well, once the stakes go in, I'd like to put down a little bit of sackcrete down there to, you know, make them a little bit permanent so they can't just be,
Yeah.
but I would also love to get some fake cameras or something, you know, just to deter someone a little bit more.
Yeah,
If we could-
absolutely.
If we could do anything like that, that would be great.
Absolutely, and we'll,
Good idea.
so much effort has been put into it. We'll definitely try to do something to try to deter vandals. We do have the most recent, this week has been Ritzoff Park. We got vandalized there. They graffitied the whole skate park up.
Oh, my gosh.
Today they got vandalized the viaduct, so it's a constant battle. But the more people we can get pulled together, gain ownership in things like this,
Exactly.
maybe we can
Keep
prevent
an eye
some
on
of
it.
that stuff
Mhm.
from happening.
Absolutely.
Great.
So, good, very good. Thank you, Martha.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting.
Well, that's a great discussion and update. Let's move on to number 6, staff report. I bet you got a lot.
Okay, so a few things came back from a few of the members of the Parks Board. I tried to kind of touch base on a little bit of all of it. I know a few of them's not here that had sent things in. First was the Highland Park pool, kind of where we are with that, of course. So staff hired an outside firm, Carruthers Brothers, or Construction, to perform a study on the pool. Information did not come back very positive as we felt it would. They did multiple tests. A few of those tests were the drainage structures of the pool, the main drain, the gutter return drains, the filter piping. None of the piping of any of those would pressurize whatsoever. So that does tell us that there's multiple holes, multiple seepage, losing lots of water through that. They did do an acoustic study on the concrete portion of the pool itself. A huge portion of that was, I can share with you here, showed where there was leakage happening. So kind of an overview of our pool back in this corner, right in here. There was some right here. There's a big seam in our pool right here. I was there when they did this. They just took a hose and ran water, and it ran continuous, and nobody knows where it was going. Never would even start to drain. This was all hollow underneath this, is voids underneath all of this area here, right in here coming into the drains. This section right here. So as you can see, several areas was hollow or say voids underneath. They did give us 3 options coming from them. One was, of course, full demo, which was roughly, back to my notes here. One option was about 6.4, 6 million, a little over 6 million, to 7 million. That's all kind of based off of what amenities we would want to maybe add to a pool similar to what we have. Second option, of course, is a rehab of the existing pool, but your life expectancies would probably be only about 5 years. and that cost was like 1.8 to 2.4.
Does that include all the pipes as well, or is it just those patches?
That would include the patches and the piping, and we would look at maybe, again, 5 years life expectancy for close to $3 million worth of repairs. And then the third option is, of course, leave it as is, and we're losing about 40,000 gallons a day of water. Their main recommendation was, when they've seen pools like this, of course, is a full demo and starting over. So, city manager, we've also had another firm come in, Lamp Brenninson. It's a aquatic specialist. He inspected areas as far as the ADA compliancy of the pool, state health department issues that we're faced with, and some of the structural needs of the existing bathhouse and chemical house and things like that. Again, he recommended full replacement as well, based off of that. He felt that there'd be as much money spent coming in and having to do tuck and mortar, things like that, making a ADA compliant ramp coming down from the pool house to the pool where currently there's steps, making the changes to the pool where our steps go out from the pool rather than coming into the pool. That's why we don't have steps in it now, as far as state mandates, updating our chemical house so that the chlorines and the chemicals can escape to make it safe for entry. They recommended a full replacement as well. So city manager and staff presented the findings to our council. Council is currently advised staff to put together a committee, which has been done, and explore some funding possibilities. I do know one funding proposal or thought right now is extending our CIP, our current CIP tax. The committee hasn't even met yet, so
That's Monday, right?
I believe Monday they're going to be meeting to discuss and kind of see what we think we can do as far as funding goes. I think if something like this is discussed as far as extending our CIP tax, we'll probably include multiple projects rather than just one, similar to what we've done in the past. And it'll just be an extension of an existing CIP tax. So, kind of update on the pool, where we're at with that. It wasn't the best of news, but it's kind of what we expected, seeing and dealing with the loss of water that we've been faced with. Our Elbows Trails project, another one that was kind of wanting an update where we are. So the Trails grant was through OTRD, the Oklahoma Tourism Department. The budget of that project is just under $1 million. It consists of a 12-foot walking trail that will extend from 5th Street right there at the viaduct, up kind of meanders through the trees there a little ways, just on the outskirts of the trees, and comes up to approximately 9th Street, I believe. And there'll be a bridge crossing, pedestrian bridge crossing at that point that'll cross the Cottonwood Creek and take us off into the Elbow, a short distance off up in there. It'll be a phase one portion of this project. We would hope that we could apply for future phases and expand that as shown on the master trails plan here. Currently that project is, we had a cultural resource study done. It's been completed. It's in its 106 phase right now, review phase. So we're kind of waiting to hear back from the National Historic Preservation Commission and different ones like that. We have to wait before any funding will be provided to us from all the various agencies that no adverse effects would be taken on various areas of that. So that's kind of where that project is.
There was something about the Osage.
Osage
Was
is one
that
of
timed
the...
out?
It has not.
Not yet, okay.
So none of them have actually timed out. We're still waiting to hear back from them.
Okay.
Osage is one of them that we have to hear back from. The Historic Preservation Commission is one of them that we have to hear back from. There's several of them. Archaeological people will have to hear back from them and stuff, so.
Is that count potentially for phase 2 as well, or would that be something we have to start over again once we?
When we did the cultural resource study, we done it for the whole park.
Okay.
We have went back because the cultural resource study came back, and we got some pretty heavy feedback as far as the effects that it could have on various pieces in the park. A lot of it we wouldn't even be close to. I mean, we've kept the walking trail within our existing street right-of-ways that was currently in place, so we've not ventured off of the roads. We've stayed within where the actual road path used to be. So we're not venturing off next to a church or anything like that. So we're staying right on our right-of-way. But we have received quite a bit of feedback from the first one. So we went back and only submitted what phase 1 would cover, in hopes that it changes that a little bit. We do kind of foresee a little bit more fight on our hands to get future phases passed, but I think if we can get phase 1 and the people see the positive side of it, and what it will do for that area, I think we'll make phase 2 and phase 3, future phases, easier for us. I think it'll be a positive thing once we kind of get it started and get it established. This is an area that hasn't had, it hasn't been accessible in years, several years. So just being able for people that have property over there to be able to walk to their property and have access to it, I think is important. So
For sure.
Will the pavilion be part of the phase 1?
the trail will come right up kind of close to the pavilion. So due to the age of the pavilion, that's what's kind of stimulated part of the 106 review. Making sure that there's we're not changing the pavilion by any means or anything like that. It'll keep its historic value. So, and we're not even touching the pavilion as far as part of the project. So, and by us providing a walking trail that comes up, next to it, we're well off of it right now. But I don't see that affecting the historic nature of the pavilion. So, but we'll see.
Is the pavilion something that people would be able to use when they?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see it being something that people could use, and the city would be able to get it fixed back up. And
Yeah, exciting.
I think it's exciting. So
It's a huge addition to the park.
and there's lots of little pieces similar to Martha's that we had put in this grant. One that I think was really neat was Storytime trail heads. So there's multiple pieces that a family can walk so far on the trail, and it may have a page of a book. They can read that page and then walk to the next one, and it's another page of a book.
That's smart.
So not only helps educational wise, getting kids to read, you're out exercising, family time together, things like that. There's a few exercise stations along the way as well. A lot of neat pieces similar to Martha's ferry trails that we're putting in Highland Park. So
Awesome.
any and all those type of little pieces that we can add to them really enhance our grant applications and things like that. So we had a lot of that mixed in with that. Another one was playground updates. Highland Park specifically. At this current time, there's not been any new updates. We've got several of our parks have some aged playgrounds. The playground amenities itself, Ritzoff Park, Mitchell Park, Lions Park, Highland Park, all are close to 30 years old. So what we're seeing, and Highland Park is one of them that we've recently seen, cracking on some slides and a few pieces of the playgrounds have broke or something, and due to the age of those big-scaled playgrounds, it's real difficult for our staff to
Can't
go out.
replace those
You just can't
pieces.
go out and replace that slide that mounts to that playground no more.
I'm gonna make it.
So
Right, they're not making it anymore.
we've got a couple areas on the Highland Park when that we've had to like put a board over so that kids couldn't fall from the playground or things like that. So currently, we don't have no funding available right now to make major changes. We're just kind of trying to
Is that
piece things
something that
together.
Shelby continues to look
Um,
for grants for?
Absolutely, all of our staff just continue to look for various grants. Our most recent ones, of course, was Mineral Wells. We did a retrofit down there. That project down there, Mineral Wells, it was done through a Land Water Conservation Fund grant. It was a 50/50 grant. Just under $1 million for what we did down there at Mineral Wells. Banner Park, it was done through our CIP tax. Again, that was a whole new park though we did there, but it was again just under $1 million project. So what we see down there, just under $1 million. Prior to that, we did improvements to our tennis courts and the basketball courts at Mineral Wells. Was another improvement that we had done, and that was, gosh, that was several years ago. That's like the very first project that we did with our CIP funds when that was voted in, and that was like a $300,000 project to improve our existing tennis courts, resurface them, and added the paintings for the pickleball and
Basketball.
Lights.
put the whole basketball court in. It was all new, added, so, and added the lights to it and all. But again, staff is constantly looking for areas and exploring things, grant opportunities for different improvements that we can do along through our parks. Like I said, I named off 4 or 5, and those numbers that I shared with you guys was several years ago, and to do a park or improvement like that is, we've seen nothing but higher and higher prices here recently. So
And the
it's getting
numbers
tougher.
on Banner and Mineral Wells, you gotta remember, we done a lot of that
The
work.
work.
A lot of
So-
in-kind
That
labor
was just
was
the
done.
equipment, basically.
A lot of our match, so like the Land Water Conservation Fund grant, it was a 50/50 grant. A lot of the city's 50% match was in-kind labor, so our crews put in all of the stamped concrete sidewalk throughout the whole park. Our staff did that. Was one of the bigger pieces that we did down there on that. We had contractors come in and do the actual rubberized surface under the playgrounds, install the playground and do the splash pad. So our staff did the sewer line that drains the splash pad, put in the water line that comes to the splash pad, so
It's a great park. That's the one that.
it's a really neat park, so.
Good job.
Other than that, staff report, our guys are busy just with our normal day-to-day duties. They've been working hard on our dams, getting them prepared for our annual dam inspections. They're inspected annually. That's a chore in itself, trying to get them things ready. It takes about 30 days or a little over just to get 2 of our dams ready, so, for inspection. So, other than that, that's concludes it, unless JB has something.
No, you covered it.
You guys been busy out at Guthrie Lake.
Guthrie Lake is almost done. That dam there at Guthrie Lake's almost finished. They're moved over to
Liberty
Liberty
now, yeah.
this week, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we started on that.
And that park up in there too, a lot of gravel work.
Yeah, we did
Looks
do
really
some
nice.
improvements in that, yeah, that's another new
A lot of
improvement.
trees and-
So we had a big donation provided to the city up in there. So that allowed us to, the city kind of matches, a lot of times when we get those type of things, we match that, try to anyway. We were able to enhance the area that people drive. So prior to that, we had a lot of just driving wherever people wanted to, and it was killing the grass, creating erosion, filling in our lake. So we tried to establish an actual road going around that way. put up some signage, making it one way, making a few nice little pull-offs. Probably will be coming to the board in the near future. I hope to get Anthony Gibbs, our one of our park ranger park patrols, to come visit with us about maybe some dedicated camping areas for around Guthrie, whether we want it on this, where we would like it, and where it would maybe fit best. So.
Is that something that we're kind of offering already at the flats, as far as like RVs, or is that?
No, not necessarily. Normally when you see RVs and stuff like that down at the flats, that is strictly like an event or something like that that takes place. Most recent one was Bluegrass, when all the campers came in, but just random camping or something like that, no, we don't have that down there. There is something that has been worked out with Wonder Inn. They have a tour that takes place. I guess people just travel. We've been currently just placing them down there.
Yeah, that's the random motorhomes we're
Okay.
seeing down there, is
That's-
that deal.
Okay, a few of those here
Yeah,
and there.
here or there, you'll
Because I didn't
see
know what it
one.
was either, I just thought they were just taking liberty
Found a spot.
and.
Yeah.
That's kind of the ones that you're
Stop here.
seeing there, so.
Okay.
Really.
That's something we've thought about maybe possibly trying to do at the trailhead of the Trails project, right there at the trailhead at Fifth. We'll have a trailhead right there and a trailhead marker, maybe establishing some sort of a one single permanent camper type hookup type facility to serve the needs of the people downtown. So.
Sweet. All right. Anything else? Anybody got anything? No? Meeting is adjourned.
We appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It was good to meet you, Steve.
Yeah, me too, for sure.